Hello Cancer, welcome to our tarot reading for the week of November 13th through 19th, 2023. This reading could apply to you if you are a Cancer sun sign, if you have a Cancer ascendant, Cancer moon, or any other significant Cancer in your chart. This will be an astrological spread reading, so I'm going to be doing this according to the 12 houses of astrology so that we can identify which areas these cards are affecting, whether it have to do with your personal life, your money, your health, your home, your relationships, other plans, and your job. And we'll cover the whole gamut. And I use, if you're not familiar with this channel, I use cartouche cards to do the initial reading, and then I clarify it with tarot. And today we are using the Aleister Crowley Thoth deck. So if you like these videos, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe, and I would love to hear your comments about how these readings are resonating with you. So let's begin here. Okay. It's interesting. I say interesting because I'm getting what they call the Seth card, or the Stormbringer card, in the house of career for a lot of people. And a lot of different signs. I got it last week, I think, for Capricorn, and possibly Aquarius. I can't quite remember. But this week I've also gotten it for, so far you are the fourth video that I've done, and it's already shown up a couple of places. So a lot of people who might be engaging in career changes here. So we're going to clarify with tarot. Please clarify for Cancer what they need to know this week of the 13th through the 19th. And by the way, if you're watching this video on a week other than the 13th through the 19th of November 2023, then that means that you are meant to see this whenever you're watching this is when you're meant to see it. So you may still have a message even though it is a different period of time. So even though this is an astrological reading, it's not necessarily specific to the astrology of this week in terms of how we're doing it. Okay. Okay, so as they say, let's begin at the beginning. Okay, so first house, this is Aries. This is your ascendant position. This is how you present yourself to the world, how you act, how people see you, how you brand yourself, what your personality is, who you assume you are without deeply getting into unconscious things, which is the domain of the 12th house. But this is how you present yourself to the world. And we have Hathor with the 6 of Pentacles, or 6 of Discs in the Crowley deck. Now, okay, you've got double sixes here, okay? So 6 is when I see that, again, this could have to do with a time period of 6 for some people, 6 weeks, 6 months, possibly 6 days. Pentacles usually indicate years to me, but again, this is not a timing reading. It's just the number 6 is prevalent here. 6 comes after 5, and 5 is usually a number of change, and 6 is kind of like the way in which we are calming down or stabilizing after a change. So Hathor here indicates to me very strong feminine energy, which is not surprising for Cancer, which is a very emotional sign. This could be, and seeing this with the 6 of Discs makes me think that you have been supportive of somebody, you've been helping somebody, maybe acting in a motherly kind of a way towards somebody, because there's definitely this strong sense of giving charity to somebody or supporting someone. Now, it could in theory be the other way around. Somebody could be supporting you, but with Hathor here, Hathor is the woman who is, the woman who is organized, who is putting her feminine skills at her disposal, whatever that ends up meaning. Okay, so that can be in a very domestic way, and it can also be the woman who is, independent, does her own thing, has her own, or makes her own way in the world in her own way. So it could really be either one. But I feel like at this combination that you may be acting in a supportive role of somebody else right now, And so you feel like you're playing the role of this more domestic feminine role, in the sense of maybe being more about nurturing and more about giving to others. It seems to be the theme here in the first house. The second house is Taurus energy, and Taurus has to do with your finances. And this is interesting because we have Sirius here. Again, another 6. So 6 seems to be a number for you right now. And yes, don't be alarmed by 666. That's merely you're using the Crowley deck and we're talking about 666, but it's basically a solar number. So 666 is really just about, the influence of the sun and the action of the sun. So it's, I don't see that as a negative from that perspective. I think everybody always thinks of it as a devil number or something, but that's not really the case. But you have Sirius here. So this is a need to think outside the box. It also can suggest that there could be something. Sirius comes up when there's something that we have to endure or something that we have to go through. So this suggests to me that you might be struggling with something with money. You could be trying to figure out certain things with finances. Maybe you've had a situation that is, maybe something where you've had to spend a lot of money on something. But there's definitely some gymnastics here financially. Not something you can't get through, because Sirius is always a card of, there's a little extra work involved, but you can handle it kind of energy. And you have it with the Hanged Man. So the Hanged Man, again, there's this idea of sacrifice. So somebody's definitely spending money on somebody between the first house and this one. Because Hanged Man is a card of sacrifice, of giving something up. But I think this also has another element of the Sirius card, in that they're both about looking at the bigger picture. So you may need to step back and look at a situation with your finances from a broader perspective, or looking at it more in the longer term. But this definitely indicates a need to think differently or do something different if you're not actually making a sacrifice here. Okay, the third house has to do with communications. Has to do with maybe pop short journeys, siblings for some people. Definitely it's house of Gemini, house of communication. If you're in your own business, because this is the house of self-effort, that might apply here as well. Now, from a business perspective, this could mean you have this Prince of Cups, which is the King of Cups. And initially this card fell reversed. Now, I don't tend to read reversals, but the fact that it shows up reversed could indicate somebody who's holding back feelings or holding back emotions of some kind, because the Prince of Cups is someone in control of their emotions, okay? And so there's this definite sense of, there's an emotional sense here, but we also have Earth here, which indicates the need to be grounded. So perhaps there have been some communications that have been very emotional and they need to take a more grounded tone. There could be discussions of money, or perhaps financial opportunities if you have your own business, because this is definitely a card of money coming in. But I feel like in the communication house with this card, and especially since it fell reversed initially, I feel like there's a need to, in communications, a need to put your feet on the ground and get away from being too emotional about something. Like your emotions may be guiding too much of what's going on. Maybe there's been emotional outbursts, maybe if not from you, maybe from somebody else. But there's definitely the idea of somebody needing to kind of breathe and ground and get control of their feelings in some kind of matter of communication. So take that as that resonates. But because if you don't feel that applies to you and that's what's going on, then I think as far as, say, business advice, or sometimes this could be relationships, like I said, with your siblings, as a big piece of business advice, it would be saying make sure you're making decisions, with your feet on the ground, with the finances, firmly in check and in your mind, and not make emotional decisions. I think that's I think that's the takeaway we have there. Fourth house is your house. It's Cancer, obviously. It's your home, your own house, that one where you are, your energy is exalted. And fourth house has to do with home, the family. It has to do with things that, perhaps related to the mother in some cases. But this is all that has to do with senses of security. Okay, and yeah, it's interesting because we have Lotus, which indicates a need for peaceful continuity, along with Death. So Death here, Death is Scorpio energy. It has the energy that says that something is changing. So whether this is a move of home for some people, whether this is merely a change in your home environment, or maybe changes that have perhaps made you feel anxious, that may be threatening your personal sense of security in some way. I think with Lotus here, there's definitely, again, I'm seeing this whole thing about, grounding, centering, keeping a cool head, because something in your life is changing. Again, this could literally be your residence and where you're living, but it could also be, it could, again, just about how secure you feel with certain situations. Death to me, when I think about security, our security can be based on our finances. So if, say, we're worried about where the next paycheck comes in, we may have some anxiety about how things are going to work out or something like that. It could be that extreme, or it could just be that there's something in your environment where you don't feel secure in some way. But this seems to indicate that there's a need to not worry about that. There are some changes, but they may be kind of natural changes, or something in which you're going to see how things are going to come together, or how they're going to come out. Excuse me about the coughing this day. It's a high allergy day. Okay, fifth house is Leo energy. Okay, somebody, again, this is not for everybody. We have Buckle of Isis here, so for somebody, this could be a pregnancy. Okay, that could be the change here that people are concerned about. Who knows? In some cases, that might be a message for somebody, because Buckle of Isis in the fifth house, which is the house of children, and this is a card of fertility, can sometimes indicate pregnancy. Of course, we do have it with the Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords has to do with somebody. This is almost the opposite energy to this. This is about somebody who looks at something sort of dispassionately, logically, academically, clinically. This is a very logical thinking kind of a person here. Again, there's this woman who is kind of in control of her emotions, but we have it with this. Now, if this does not have to do with a pregnancy or childbirth, this can have to do with something that you need to give up. Okay, and again, I'm feeling like there's this idea of not making decisions here about something from an emotional perspective. Now, this house, what it rules is love affairs, it rules children, and it rules creative projects. That's what Leo covers. I mean, there's this this sense of visibility here. So I don't know. What's also I'm hearing in my head is making a sacrifice to show the truth of something too. So because the Queen of Swords takes her sword and kind of cuts through all of the BS. She's showing you what things really are. And so I feel like there's some kind of a sacrifice being made here. Again, whether it has to do with a relationship, whether this means getting tough with a child, whether it means something having to do with some creative project or some kind of creative work, where you are, there's a need to either lay down the law, or there's a need to give something up or make some kind of a change. Okay. I'm seeing all of these omens here of kind of like getting focused and kind of getting to work, because this indicates work that is put in will be rewarded in the end. Okay, sixth house has to do with Virgo and Virgo energy. This has to do with your health, with your anxieties, your worries, and also with your job, really. Job as opposed to career, like things that we do to make money versus maybe how we want to, what we consider our true quote-unquote work. Sometimes it's the same thing. Sometimes it's not. But, and for some people, it'll have to do with pets as well. But we have the Prince of Wands, which is the King of Wands. So this is somebody, the King of Wands is somebody who's very determined to get their way and to get what they want. But we have it again with water. It's interesting. I'm seeing like a lot of these very emotional cards paired with these cards of either action. So very feminine cards paired with very masculine cards. And I feel like water here is suggesting a need to go with the flow on something. Again, there's a lot of emotion in this reading, and the fact that I'm seeing somebody who's got to be acting in kind of this motherly fashion makes me think that for some people, you may be concerned about a particular person, or you may be, acting as the grown-up in the room in a particular situation or something like that. I don't know. But there's definitely a need here of going with the flow. This jumped in my head too. This is very specific, but there's somebody who's having some kind of health issue that requires you to drink more water. Don't know who that is. You can take that as it applies. But this is certainly very, very vigorous. This is a very high energy card. So if this does have to do with health, it does seem to indicate, something very strong and vigorous. I mean, this is the king or the prince, but the king of the top, the head of the suit, the top of the suit. And wands are about fiery energy and about movement and about action. So there definitely seems to be this this kind of action here. For some people, this could have to do with a person who is a fire sign too. This could be somebody who's Aries. What's the other one? Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. Couldn't think of Leo there for a minute. But yeah, so this is something here. There's some potentially some kind of emotional thing, but this is a card of an area of where one might be worried, or what, it may have to do with, again, with somebody's job or something. But there's some kind of a situation here where, again, you're kind of going with the flow of things emotionally. It may be that there's something that's a in-between or undecided situation that you've just kind of got to see where it goes. So again, take that as it resonates. I know it's a little confusing, but it seems like it could apply to a number of different things there. Okay, so this is the 7th house is Libra. Libra has to do with your relationships, your business partnerships, legal arrangements. Like it's a very legal house. And of course, you've got this legal card here in this house. So this could indicate literally a legal, like a business partnership where there's something legal that's going on. Usually this shows up as a good omen for legal things, because it does have kind of Libra energy and it's in the Libra house. So that's very, very good for legal matters or relationships or legal kinds of situations. This can also indicate a partner or somebody who has some kind of authority or is an authority figure. It could be somebody literally who's like a judge or somebody involved with law in some way, but it could also just be it just could also just be somebody who's very prominent, who's seen. Okay. Now we have it with the 4 of Cups, which again has been showing up a lot in this particular house. It's kind of interesting. But 4 of Cups, this is Crowley calls this the card of luxury. It's really about 4 of Cups. I feel 4 of Cups is about looking at opportunities. We may be looking only at what we don't like and what we don't have rather than what we have. This may be about not wanting to miss an opportunity that's being held out to you, perhaps by this person. I don't know. Or perhaps, there's just some kind of an opportunity here that you don't want to miss. And this is in regard to a legal partnership of some kind, whether it's your marriage or whether it's a relationship. For some people, this could be a dissatisfaction in marriage too, or there could either be a boredom or there could be a sense of, a sense of something, being dissatisfied with some aspect, in which case this card would be telling you to look at the bright side. Look at what's positive rather than looking at what's negative. And in this case, this might have to do with, with just self-discipline, confidence, things like that. I mean, these are all qualities of this particular card. So whether this applies to you, to your spouse, to a partner, and it could literally apply to you in that situation, but take it as it resonates. 8th house is Scorpio energy, and this has to do with transformation. It can have to do with other people's money. There's a whole host of things associated with this house. I tend to feel that this house kind of tells us what our transformation path is, like where we're headed, where things are going. And again, we have the Princess of Wands who matches up with the Prince here, so that's interesting. This is like the it's not the Queen of Wands per se. Princess is more like the Page of Wands, and so this could indicate, again, new starts, new communications. Princesses or pages bring messages. Usually, they bring new information. And so you may be fired up to do something. You may be, there's a lot of fire energy here that I'm seeing in terms of maybe your work, your worry, things like that. And but we have it with Nephthys here. Now Nephthys indicates things that have not happened yet. Okay, so you may be ready to go with something. You may be waiting for a particular message. But there's this idea of, and again, this is also something that's just in its infancy, like at its very beginning. Page energy is something that's new. And because it's new, not everything that you need to know or see or whatever has happened yet. There's more to come in regards to, some kind of transformation. Now, transformation, as I mentioned, is showing up here in your 4th house. And so I don't know. There's just something that's changing. I feel like there's something that may be fundamentally changing, either about where you live or about how you create stability, or how you create security for yourself. But what this would be saying is that there's more to come. Okay, and I feel like that might be even the tagline for this reading. There's more to come. There's more to come here because you know, something has started here. There's clearly a fire that's lit, but we don't have all the information yet. Okay, ninth house has to do with Sagittarius energy. This has to do with higher education. Could be long distance travel. And it can also, you know, be just anything that expands your horizons or your beliefs or your way of looking at things. And we have the Ankh here. Okay, so this is a card of love, and you have it with the Three of Cups. And the Three of Cups is a card of, well, it's socializing with others. Sometimes it's a reconciliation or getting back together. So somebody could be taking a trip to get together. This could be a happy, loving kind of a thing, to get together with people that you care about. There could be a love situation that is at a distance or overseas or in an academic setting, okay? Because this does have to do with higher ed, universities, things like that. For some people, this literally could mean being at university and maybe meeting somebody, maybe being out with a group of friends and starting a new relationship. I mean, all these things are possible. But we definitely have this idea of, if it doesn't have to do with romantic love, it would just have to do with being very impassioned about some kind of subject of study or something that you're delving into. And it may be something that you're involved in with a community of people here. So there does seem to be a lot of happiness derived here from expanding those horizons, whether it be through travel or whether it be through educating yourself on something, or maybe even teaching something. Okay, 10th house is Capricorn. Okay, so as I mentioned, yeah, we have Seth here. Seth is the Stormbringer, and this is the house of fame, reputation, career. So we have something, some kind of a problem, somebody jumped out of my mouth, okay? So I don't know. For some of you, this could be about an individual, or something, some situation that is blocking, or is a problem, or creates anxiety. And you have this Pyramid card. So I feel like whatever the situation is, it is a test. Somebody is testing you, or it's just, you know, I feel like, yeah, I do feel like regardless, this has to do with an individual. Like maybe somebody who's giving you a hard time on the job, or giving you a hard time about something that you're doing. I don't know. But this is the idea that this is like a test that you will come through. There is an element of this with the Seven of Pentacles, which, again, Crowley calls this the card of failure. But it's not so much about failure. It's more about evaluating whether or not the effort you're putting into something is worth it. Is this worth, you know, is the time, effort, and energy that I've put in worth it? So this may be that, I think this is what your test is here. You're trying to evaluate whether or not something you're doing is worth the energy. Now, the Seven of Pentacles can also mean, though, positively, that something is nearing its end and you just need to be patient. And I don't know, I'm hearing in my head, it's very hard to be patient, but there's some kind of a situation where there's maybe you're lacking patience with something, or thinking, you know, or ready to give up on something. But this may be saying that you're close to the harvest, or you're close to achieving what it is you want to achieve. But that, I think, is the decision that you need to make. You know, what is the decision here? But again, going back to what I'm seeing down here, whatever decision you make, don't make an emotional decision. Obviously, your emotions come into play, how tired you are, your health, all these other kinds of things. But make sure you are making a decision with your feet on the ground and from a calm and centered place. Whatever decision you make about either giving up or, you know, toughing it out to the end, you want to make you don't want to make it from an emotional place. And I mean, obviously, as cancers are very emotional by nature, so that's something you need to be careful of. Okay. Where are we? We're at the 11th house, which is Aquarius energy. And yeah, we do have the Princess of Swords. So this is the Page of Swords. So somebody potentially spreading gossip, rumors, might be more information that you need about something, because this is the house of your friend groups, your networks. Can be friend groups, networks, and also your goals. So there could be some slagging off. There could be some negative conversation that potentially is going on. But Princess of Swords to me also has another aspect to it, which is that of fighting moods, not allowing emotions to take over in a particular situation. This doesn't necessarily have to mean people are talking about you, because this card can also have to do with kind of dispassionately seeking information. You have it, and you have whatever it is with the winged disc. So this indicates getting your wish in something, okay? So it seems to me that whatever's going on over here, and I feel like we saw this somewhere else in here. I can't, yeah, like there's some, yeah, I think the communication house. There may be some communications that are concerning. Maybe you might be worried about what people are saying about something, but this is definitely assuring you that things are going to be okay. And it also assures you that you're going to reach whatever goal it is you're trying to reach. So that's good news. Okay, so now let's get to the 12th house, which is Pisces. As I mentioned, this is energy that's hidden. This is about the things about yourself or about a situation that either you're afraid of or you're not really seeing because they're unconscious. And yeah, you've got Anubis here. Anubis in the 12th house is always very nice because Anubis guides you through any kind of anxiety and difficulty. He's the guide through the underworld. This is sort of, this and the 8th house are sort of the quote-unquote underworld here. And you have it with adjustment. So you may be concerned about justice. Some of you, this literally might be a concern about a legal matter with somebody. The number 8 seems to be important here too, because there's the 8 over here with the crook and flail. And then you've got an 8 here. So I feel like in that matter, there could be something in 8 days, 8 weeks. I'm not sure. Maybe even 8 months will apply. But this is definitely the Libra energy. Crowley calls this the adjustment card. Yeah, it seems to me like there's this concern about whether or not justice is going to be served. But when I see it with Anubis, that to me almost indicates like, yeah, it will be. Like somehow this is someone who's protective energy when it comes to this process. And there also might be about a truth that comes out too. There may be a concern about some kind of a situation being brought to light because you know, this card also can represent the truth coming out in something. So yeah, so either way, I feel like there's concerns about protection, and I do feel like this does mean, though, that you will be protected in this situation. And again, as I pointed out here, I feel like you're going to reach your goal. Okay, overall, we have the Bast card. So there's a need to follow your intuition. You may be taking a risk right now. You got the Fool. So, and Fool also might indicate a need to be free of a situation as well. Bastet reminds me a little bit of this 3 of Cups over here. So this may have to do with socializing. This may have to do with getting out with other people, relaxing, enjoying yourself. But fundamentally, this is a card of intuition. So follow your intuition. I'm definitely seeing keep your feet on the ground. And, you know, it does seem like this is a time when you're going to be taking a leap of faith or taking risks. But it does feel like that may be the appropriate thing to do right now. Just, again, make sure your emotions don't necessarily override your logic. Thanks for watching this week, and I'll see you next week.